Hey, family, welcome back to Unfiltered Connections, where we have the conversations most people are afraid to have. I'm your host, Janique, also known as Positively Me, and today we're about to make some people uncomfortable because I have a question and I want you to really think about this before you answer. Are you actually happy or are you just used to your life? Because those two are totally different things. And sometimes we don't realize we're unhappy because we've gotten really good at functioning inside of it. We wake up, we go to work, take care of everybody, pay the bills, come home, scroll on our phones, go to sleep, do it again, and we call that life. But somewhere inside, there's this little voice saying, "This isn't what I want." And we keep telling that voice to shut up. So today, let's talk about it. Comfort is not always happiness. Let's start with something simple. Comfort feels safe. Happiness feels fulfilling. And sometimes we choose comfort because we're scared of what comes after it. You know what you're getting. You know what tomorrow looks like. You know what the relationship is going to look like. You know what your job is going to look like. You know what your routine is going to look like. And even if you don't love it, at least you know it. And sometimes we convince ourselves, well, it could be worse. Have you ever said that? I mean, it could be worse. And maybe it could. But here's the question. Does something have to be terrible before you're allowed to want something better? No. You don't have to wait until your life completely falls apart to admit, I'm not happy. Like relationships. Let's talk about relationships first. Because, this one is going to hit somebody. Okay. Are you actually happy with your partner? Or are you just used to having them around? And I'm not saying leave your relationship. That's not what I'm doing. I'm saying be honest with yourself. Do you enjoy being with this person? Can you talk to them? Do you feel respected? Do you feel safe being yourself? Do you look forward to spending time together? Or are you staying because we've been together too long? I don't want to start over. What will everybody think? I don't want to be alone. We've built too much together. Listen, time invested doesn't automatically equal happiness. You can love somebody and still realize the relationship isn't working anymore. And sometimes the hardest thing is to admit, I don't know if I'm happy. Are you afraid to be alone? This one deserves its own conversation because sometimes we don't actually want the relationship. We just don't want the loneliness that comes after it. And there's a difference. Sometimes people stay in relationships because being alone feels scarier than being unhappy. But being alone doesn't have to mean being alone. Sometimes being alone is where you finally hear yourself. You finally figure things out. What do I like? What do I want? What do I need? Who am I when I'm not somebody's girlfriend, boyfriend, wife, husband, mother, caretaker? Who am I? That's a powerful question. Now let's talk about work. Because some of us are getting up every morning like, I hate this place. Then Monday comes and we're back and listen, I understand. Bills are real. Rent is real. Groceries are real. Nobody's telling you to quit your job tomorrow because you're unhappy. But I do want you to ask yourself, is this where I want to be forever? If the answer is no, okay, what's the plan? Maybe you need a school. Maybe you need training. Maybe you need to apply for something else. Maybe you need to start that business you wanted to start a long time ago. Maybe you need to learn a new skill. Maybe you're not ready to leave yet. And that's okay. But don't confuse I'm not ready to leave with I have to stay forever. Those aren't the same thing. Now let's talk about friendships. Because just because you've known somebody for 15 years doesn't mean you have to stay the same people forever. People change, you change, Your priorities change, your values change, and sometimes the friendship doesn't fit anymore. And that's okay. Sometimes you're still friends because you're thinking, but we've been through so much together. Okay, but what are you going through now? Do you feel supported? Can you celebrate each other? Can you be honest? Do you trust them? Can you grow without feeling like you're leaving them behind? Or are you constantly shrinking yourself so the friendship can survive? Because if you have to become smaller just to keep somebody comfortable, that's not a friendship. And sometimes it's not even a person. Sometimes it's your entire lifestyle. Maybe you don't like where you live. Maybe you don't like your routine. Maybe you're tired of being financially stressed. Maybe you've outgrown your environment. Maybe you want to move. Maybe you want to travel. Maybe you want to go back to school. Maybe you want to start creating content. Maybe you want to start a podcast. Like me. Ta-da. Maybe you've been saying, one day I'm going to, for the last 5 years. And eventually you have to ask yourself, when is one day going to become today? Now, let's talk about social media. Because social media will have you thinking you're supposed to have your entire life figured out. You open Instagram, somebody bought a house. TikTok, somebody got engaged. Facebook, somebody having a baby. YouTube, somebody just quit their job and became a millionaire. And you're sitting here eating a sandwich like, what the hell am I doing? But here's the thing. You're comparing your behind the scenes to somebody else's highlight reel. You don't know what happens when they put the camera down. So stop using somebody else's life as measuring stick for yours. Now, somebody might say, but Johnny, I'm grateful. And yes, be grateful, absolutely. But gratitude and wanting more can exist at the same time. You can say, I'm grateful for what I have, and I want something different. Those statements do not contradict each other. You can appreciate your apartment and still want a house. You can appreciate your job and still want a career. You can love your partner and still want the relationship to grow. You can be grateful for your life and still want to change parts of it. Gratitude doesn't require you to stop growing. Here's the question I really want you to sit with. Imagine nothing changes. Same relationship, same job, same friendship, same routine, same environment, same habits, same financial situation, same everything. And 5 years from now, you're exactly where you are today. How do you feel about that? Are you excited? Are you relieved? Okay with it? Or does your stomach drop a little? Because sometimes your reaction tells you everything. Maybe you're not unhappy with your entire life. Maybe there's one area you've been avoiding, and that's okay. You don't have to change everything. Start with one thing. Sometimes we are the reason we're stuck. And I say that with love because it's easy to blame circumstances, and sometimes circumstances really are the problem. But sometimes we're scared. We're procrastinating. We're making excuses. We're waiting for somebody to rescue us. We're waiting until we're confident. We're waiting until we have more money. We're waiting until the kids get older. We're waiting until the relationship gets better. We're waiting until we lose weight. We're waiting until we feel ready. But here's the problem. You may never feel ready. Sometimes you have to move while you're scared. I don't want to make something very clear. And I want to make something very clear. This episode isn't telling you, quit your job, leave your partner, move across the country, cut everybody off, start over tomorrow. No, that's not realistic, obviously. Sometimes changes is small. Maybe you start saving money. Maybe you update your resume. Maybe you take one class. Maybe you have an honest conversation. Maybe you set one boundary. Maybe you start going to the gym. Maybe you finally make the doctor's appointment. Maybe you start that business. Maybe you record that podcast episode, even though you're nervous. Change doesn't have to be dramatic. It just has to be intentional. Why I started this podcast? And honestly, this podcast is an example of exactly what I'm talking about. I could have kept saying, one day I'm going to start my podcast. One day, one day, one day. But eventually, I said, girl, just press record. Did I know exactly what I was doing? No. Did I stumble? Absolutely. Did I mess up recordings? Yep. Did I worry that people wouldn't watch? Yep. I started. And now I'm here talking to you. Sometimes the life you want is on the other side of doing something you're scared to do. What if you're not lost? Here's another thought. What if you're not lost? What if you're just changing? Maybe things you wanted 5 years ago aren't the things you want today. That's okay. You don't have to force yourself to keep chasing an old dream just because you told everybody about it. You are allowed to say, I don't want that anymore. You are allowed to change your mind. You are allowed to evolve. You are allowed to create a different life. So I want to ask you something, and I want you to answer honestly. Not what sounds good, not what you're supposed to say. Are you happy or are you just comfortable? And if you're not happy, what is one thing you would change? Don't try to fix your entire life tonight. Just identify one thing, because sometimes one honest answer is where change begins. Listen, I don't want you to leave the episode feeling like your whole life needs to change. I want you to leave asking yourself better questions. Am I happy? Am I fulfilled? Am I being honest with myself? Am I staying because I want to stay or because I'm afraid to leave? Am I living my life or just getting through it? And maybe the answer is, yeah, I'm actually happy. Beautiful. Keep doing it. Keep going. Keep appreciating it. Keep nurturing it. And if the answer is, honestly, I don't know, that's okay. You don't have to have all the answers today. Just be honest enough to start looking for them. Thank you for hanging out with me for another episode of Unfiltered Connections. If this conversation made you think, share it with somebody. Send it to your best friend. Send it to your partner. Send it to somebody who keeps saying, I'm fine. And then tell them, are you really fine though? Because sometimes we need somebody to ask. I'm Janique, also known as Positively Me. This is Unfiltered Connections. Real conversations, real life, no pretending. And as always, keep it unfiltered. I'll see you next Sunday at 6. Mwah.